World War I was called the Great War because it was different than anything the world had ever seen. Some consider it to have been the first instance of total warfare, defined as the waging of war not only on a nation's armed forces, but also on its economy, morale, and society. World War I marked the proliferation of submarine warfare, espionage, and sabotage as war tactics, and once one side had started the fire, it could not be stopped. Due to the absolute dedication that the enemy showed in the war effort, the United States was forced to respond with an equally aggressive policy.
One of the icons of World War I were the German submarines, called U-boats. Although Germany hardly ever had more than 100 of these, they struck fear and anger into the hearts of Americans. Early on, German submarine captains obeyed prize law, searching and evacuating all merchant ships before sinking them. However, by February 1915, the waters near Great Britain were declared as a war zone, and not even neutral ships were spared in the unannounced attacks. The goal was initially to force Britain to lift its blockade on Germany, but eventually it became more ambitious, to blockade Britain and starve it out of the war. Unfortunately for the Germans, everything did not go as planned.
May 7, 1915. A British luxury ocean liner, the Lusitania, is completing its voyage from New York City to Liverpool, despite public warnings from the German government. Suddenly, 2 torpedoes are fired from German submarine U-20 and sink the ship. Over half of its 2,000 passengers are killed. Among them are 128 American citizens. Although the Lusitania had indeed been carrying large amounts of war supplies, the American public is outraged and clamors for war. Instead, President Woodrow Wilson demands reparations, causing Germany to temporarily cease its unrestricted submarine warfare. However, the anti-German sentiment has already taken root in the minds of the American public. This would lead up to the United States' decision to join the war against Germany in 1917, and to the total dedication of America's civilians in the war effort.
Although the United States and Britain were both developing their military intelligence during World War I, they paled in comparison to Germany's intelligence community, which had spies over 4 continents. Germans used spies to infiltrate foreign governments even before the war began. Later, all nations relied heavily on cryptology to guard their information, due to the uncertainty involved with the telegraph.
January 19, 1917. British intelligence intercepts and decodes a telegram sent by German Foreign Minister Arthur Zimmermann to the German ambassador in Mexico City. The so-called Zimmermann telegram promises the Mexican government the territory that it lost to the United States in exchange for their support in the Great War. This way, if the Americans join the Allies, they will be fighting a 2-front war. The British reveal this message to the public, causing fear and alarm in the United States. This pushes Congress to accept Woodrow Wilson's request to declare war on Germany, and so it does, on April 2, 1917, with the full support of the American people. Before the war had even begun, Germany had sent spies to 4 continents. The agents in America were given an extremely high budget of $150 million. Disguised as ambassadors, they used acts of terrorism to demolish the American feelings of safety in their homes, and also to sabotage the U.S. industries that aided the British, French, and Russian forces. After only a few months, sect leader Franz von Richthofen and a group of German spies had caused $100 million in damages. Although their threat to the public was greatly propagandized, their actions were limited in scope until 1916, when the Black Tom exploded.
July 29, 1916. German spies set fire to a dock called the Black Tom in the New York harbor. Some of the guards at the harbor had been bribed by the Germans to let down their guard. In addition, the cargo and ships themselves had not been under close watch. German intelligence had broken into the facility in which ammunition and several fuel tanks were stored. It is rumored that the first fire began in this warehouse. This event scares the guards, causing them to flee the scene. Then, at 2:08 a.m., a thunderous explosion shakes the New Jersey harbor, shatters windows, and throws people from their beds. The Johnson 17, a ship carrying explosives and fuel that was docked at the pier, has exploded. Throughout the rest of the night, multiple other explosions occur. At dawn, a majority of the Black Tom Pier is gone. Germany's use of submarine warfare, espionage, and sabotage against the United States in World War I demonstrated its intent for total war. Faced with this, America had no choice but to fight fire with fire. Therefore, subs, spies, and sabotage are not examples of America's waging of total war, but rather the contributing factors that set the stage for it.